Your favorite frozen dessert might be doing more harm than you realize. Recent studies from major health institutions have revealed something disturbing. Many popular frozen treats contain ingredients that could be quietly damaging your gut, raising your diabetes risk, and even altering your DNA. Before you reach for that next pint or popsicle, you need to know what scientists are discovering about these 9 frozen desserts. And at the end, I will reveal the 2 frozen options that are actually safe to eat. The frozen dessert industry has exploded over the past few decades. Walk into any American supermarket and you will find entire aisles dedicated to frozen treats. But here is what most people do not know. Many of these products are not actually ice cream at all. They are frozen desserts, a term that legally means they contain vegetable oils and emulsifiers instead of real dairy fat. When manufacturers replaced natural dairy fat with cheaper alternatives, they opened the door to a cocktail of additives that never existed in traditional frozen treats. The problem is that your body was never designed to process many of these substances. So let us dive into the 9 frozen dessert items you should keep out of your freezer, starting with number 9. Number 9. Premium ice cream loaded with polysorbate 80. You might think that premium, high-fat ice cream is the safest choice because it contains real cream and fewer additives. Unfortunately, many premium brands include an emulsifier called polysorbate 80 to maintain that smooth, creamy texture. Research published in the journal Microbiome in 2021 found something alarming. Polysorbate 80 directly alters human gut bacteria in ways that promote intestinal inflammation. Polysorbate 80 acts like a detergent in your digestive system. A study published in the Journal of Crohn's and Colitis in January 2025 examined 154 patients with Crohn's disease. Researchers found that a diet low in emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 was effective as a treatment for mild to moderate cases. The emulsifier breaks down the protective mucus layer lining your gut. Once that barrier is compromised, bacteria that should stay in your intestines can leak into your bloodstream, triggering chronic inflammation throughout your body. A February 20. A 24 study in PLOS Medicine tracked 92,000 French adults for an average of 6.7 years. The researchers discovered that higher intakes of emulsifiers, including polysorbate 80, were associated with increased cancer risk. According to the Environmental Working Group, polysorbate 80 appears in over 2,300 food products as of May 2025. What should you choose instead? Look for ice creams with short ingredient lists. Real ice cream needs only cream, milk, sugar, eggs, and natural flavoring. Brands like Häagen-Dazs and some Breyers varieties keep their formulas simple. If you see polysorbate 80, polysorbate 65, or polysorbate 20, put it back on the shelf. Number 8. Frozen desserts with titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is a whitening agent that makes frozen desserts look brighter and more appealing. France banned titanium dioxide as a food additive in 2020. The entire European Union followed suit in 2022. Yet in the United States, this chemical remains perfectly legal and appears in thousands of products on grocery store shelves. Why did Europe ban it? A 2021 safety evaluation by the European Food Safety Authority concluded that titanium dioxide can no longer be considered safe for human consumption. The main concern is genotoxicity, which means the substance can damage your DNA. Food-grade titanium dioxide contains nanoparticles, ultra-fine particles that measure between 1 and 100 nanometers in diameter. These nanoparticles are so small they can accumulate in your organs over time. A 2019 study published in Nanotoxicology found significant accumulation of titanium in the liver and intestines of mice. The titanium accumulation was associated with inflammation and tissue damage. Another 2019 study published in the Journal of Agriculturals. In a study published in Food Chemistry, rats were fed titanium dioxide nanoparticles for 2 to 3 months. The animals developed intestinal inflammation, altered gut bacteria composition, and reduced populations of important immune cells. Most recently, a paper from 2025 published in Alzheimer's and Dementia provided evidence that titanium dioxide nanoparticles bind to specific receptors in neurons, causing oxidative stress and overproduction of toxic amyloid beta peptides, which are key markers of Alzheimer's disease. The challenge for American consumers is that food companies are not required to list titanium dioxide by name. They can simply write artificial color or color added on the label. According to the Center for Science in the Public Interest, titanium dioxide currently appears in nearly 13,000 brand-name food products in the United States. What should you look for instead? Choose organic frozen desserts whenever possible. Titanium dioxide is not allowed in certified organic foods. Number 7. Ice cream sandwiches with hydrogenated oils. Ice cream sandwiches seem like a nostalgic, harmless treat. The problem lies in those cookies. To keep them soft and chewy even when frozen, manufacturers often use partially hydrogenated oils. These oils are the primary dietary source of artificial trans fats, which are among the most harmful substances you can consume. Trans fats raise your bad cholesterol while simultaneously lowering your good cholesterol. This significantly increases your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. The Food and Drug Administration determined in 2015 that partially hydrogenated oils are not generally recognized as safe for human consumption. The challenge is identifying these products. In the United States, food manufacturers can claim 0 trans fats on the nutrition label if a serving contains less than half a gram of trans fat. Less than 0.5 grams. This means a product could contain up to 0.49 grams per serving and still be labeled as having 0 trans fats. What is the safer alternative? Look for ice cream sandwiches made with real butter or coconut oil in the cookies. Brands like So Delicious and some organic options use healthier fats. Always read the ingredient list. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, or the phrase may contain trans fats, avoid that product. Number 6. Sherbet and sorbet with high fructose corn syrup. Sherbet and sorbet sound healthy. They are fruit-based, lower in fat, and often marketed as lighter alternatives to ice cream. But many commercial brands rely heavily on high fructose corn syrup to provide sweetness. A global study published in 2013 examined 42 countries and found that nations with higher high fructose corn syrup consumption had a 20% higher prevalence of type 2 diabetes than countries that did not use it. This association remains significant even after controlling for total sugar intake and obesity levels. Unlike glucose, which can be used by every cell in your body for energy, fructose is processed almost exclusively by your liver. When you consume large amounts, your liver converts much of it directly into fat. This is believed to be a major contributor to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. A 2019 study found that mice given 10% high fructose corn syrup water developed impaired glucose tolerance due to insulin secretion defects, even when their caloric intake was controlled and they did not become obese. The United States is the largest consumer of high fructose corn syrup is widely consumed in the world, with Americans consuming an average of 55 pounds per person each year. What should you choose instead? Look for sorbets and sherbets sweetened with cane sugar, fruit juice, or natural sweeteners like monk fruit. Brands like Chloe's Fruit Bars and Whole Fruit Bars use real fruit as their primary ingredient with minimal added sugars. Number 5. Frozen yogurt with carrageenan. Frozen yogurt has long been marketed as a healthier alternative to ice cream, but many frozen yogurt products contain an additive called carrageenan. Carrageenan is extracted from red seaweed and used as a thickener and stabilizer. However, the extraction process involves treating the seaweed with alkaline solutions for prolonged periods, resulting in a heavily processed ingredient. The February 2024 study in PLOS Medicine that followed 92,000 French adults found that higher intakes of carrageenan were associated with higher risks of cancer. A 2019 randomized controlled trial found that adults with ulcerative colitis who consumed carrageenan capsules had an increased likelihood of developing a disease flare-up after 1 year compared to those following a carrageenan-free diet. A 2021 study published in Microbiome examined how 20 different commonly used dietary emulsifiers impacted human gut bacteria. The researchers found that various carrageenans induced lasting, detrimental impacts on microbiota composition and function. According to the Environmental Working Group database, carrageenan was listed on over 8,100 product labels as of May 2025. What is the better choice? Look for frozen yogurt brands that do not contain carrageenan. You can also make your own frozen yogurt at home using plain Greek yogurt, fruit, and a small amount of honey. Number 4. Artificially flavored popsicles with synthetic. Popsicles are a quintessential summer treat, especially for children. But many popular popsicle brands contain a troubling combination of artificial flavors and synthetic food dyes, including Red 40, Blue 1, Yellow 5, and Yellow 6. A 2021 health effects assessment by the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment found that Red number 3 can make children vulnerable to behavioral difficulties, including decreased attention. Red number 3 is particularly concerning. In 1990, the Food and Drug Administration found that Red number 3 can cause cancer and banned its use in cosmetics and externally applied drugs. Yet this same dye remains approved for use in food. California became the first state to ban Red number 3 from foods in 2024. Beyond the dyes themselves, artificially flavored popsicles often contain high fructose corn syrup as a primary ingredient. Classic brands list high fructose corn syrup higher on the ingredient list than actual fruit juice. What are the safer alternatives? Look for popsicles made with real fruit as the first ingredient and colored with natural sources like beet juice or turmeric. Brands like Good Pop, Outshine, Chloe's, and Whole Fruit use real fruit and natural colors. Even better, brands like DB's Organics and Ruby Rockets contain no added sugar at all, relying solely on fruit for sweetness. Number 3. Low-fat or diet ice cream with maltodextrin. Diet ice cream has exploded in popularity over the past decade. Brands promise all the taste of regular ice cream with a fraction of the calories and sugar. They achieve this through artificial sweeteners, protein fortification, and bulking agents like maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is a highly processed carbohydrate derived from corn, rice, or potato starch. Despite being a carbohydrate, maltodextrin has a glycemic index even higher than table sugar. A 2019 mouse study demonstrated that feeding mice maltodextrin-enriched diets caused increased susceptibility to colitis compared to a control group. The researchers attributed this to reduced production of protective mucus in the colon lining. A study in BMJ published in September 2023 found that intake of several types of emulsifiers was associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. The study observed more than 95,000 French adults for a median of 7.4 years. What is the better approach? If you want lower-calorie frozen desserts, choose options that achieve this through whole food ingredients rather than artificial additives. Frozen fruit bars made primarily from pureed fruit provide natural sweetness and fiber with far fewer calories than ice cream. Vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor in America. Many manufacturers use artificial vanilla flavoring instead of real vanilla extract. Real vanilla extract comes from vanilla beans and contains hundreds of flavor compounds. Artificial vanilla flavoring is dominated by a single chemical called vanillin, which can be synthesized from wood pulp byproducts and petroleum derivatives. Products that use artificial vanilla flavor tend to contain other artificial ingredients as well. Research from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has highlighted that frozen desserts may contain trans fats and vegetable oils instead of dairy. The hydrogenated fats used in these products are associated with heart disease, increased cholesterol, and inflammation. What should you look for instead? Choose ice cream and frozen desserts that list vanilla extract or vanilla beans in the ingredients. Brands like Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's, and Talenti typically use real vanilla. Cream bars and novelties represent some of the most highly processed frozen desserts available. When you examine the ingredient list, you might see mono and diglycerides, polysorbate 80, carrageenan, guar gum, cara bean gum, artificial colors, artificial flavors, high fructose corn syrup, and partially hydrogenated oils all in a single product. A study examining food products in the UK found that over half of all emulsifier-containing foods contained more than one emulsifier. Some products contained as many as 11 different emulsifiers. While previous research tested individual emulsifiers in isolation, real-world consumption involves combinations of these chemicals, and scientists do not yet fully understand their synergistic effects. Many ice cream bars contain 20 to 30 grams of added sugar per serving. That is nearly the entire daily recommended limit for adults in a single small treat. For children, whose recommended limits are even lower, a single ice cream bar can provide more than a full day's worth of added sugar. What are the better alternatives? Avoid ice cream bars with long ingredient lists. Instead, look for simple frozen treats made with whole food ingredients. Brands like Yasso make Greek yogurt bars with short ingredient lists and added protein. Now that you know the 9 frozen desserts to avoid, let me share the 2 that are actually safe to eat. The first safe option is frozen fruit bars made primarily from whole fruit. When you look at the ingredient list of truly healthy frozen fruit bars, you should see fruit or fruit puree as the first ingredient, followed by water and perhaps a small amount of natural sugar. Brands like Ruby Rockets, DB's Organics, and Sweet Nothings exemplify this approach. Ruby Rockets frozen pops are made entirely from fruits and vegetables with no added sugar. Their Rocket Red Pop contains just 4 grams of naturally occurring sugar from strawberries, lemons, carrots, sweet potatoes, and beets. DB's Organics Super Fruit Freezies contain organic fruit juices and purees with no added sugar, artificial flavors, or artificial colors. The only additional ingredients are guar gum for texture and organic fruit flavoring. They are free of gluten and the top 9 allergens. Most whole fruit bars contain between 40 and 80 calories per serving, compared to 200 or more for traditional ice cream bars. Research on fruit consumption consistently shows health benefits. Whole fruits contain fiber that slows sugar absorption, preventing the blood sugar spikes associated with processed desserts. Regular fruit consumption is associated with reduced risk of chronic diseases, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. When shopping for frozen fruit bars, look for these key features. Fruit or fruit puree should be the first ingredient. The product should have minimal added sugars, ideally less than 10 grams per serving. Avoid products with high fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, or artificial flavors. You can also make your own frozen fruit bars at home incredibly easily. Simply blend fresh or frozen fruit with a small amount of water or fruit juice. Pour into popsicle molds and freeze overnight. This gives you complete control over ingredients and costs a fraction of store-bought options. The second safe option is premium ice cream with only natural ingredients. When I say premium ice cream with natural ingredients, I am talking about products with radically simple ingredient lists. The gold standard would be cream, milk, sugar, egg yolks, and vanilla extract or other natural flavorings. That is it. No emulsifiers, no stabilizers, no artificial anything. Brands like Haagen-Dazs, Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams, and some Breyer's natural vanilla varieties fit this description. Let me be clear about something important. This is still ice cream. It is high in calories, saturated fat, and sugar. It is not a health food. However, it is a whole food dessert made from ingredients that humans have been consuming for centuries. Research comparing ice cream made with real dairy to frozen desserts made with vegetable oils shows meaningful nutritional differences. Real ice cream contains beneficial nutrients including calcium, vitamin A, vitamin D, and protein from the dairy. A half-cup serving of quality vanilla ice cream provides about 10% of your daily calcium needs and meaningful amounts of vitamins A and D. When choosing premium ice cream, follow these guidelines. Read the ingredient list, not just the marketing on the package. Look for cream or milk as the first ingredient. Avoid products containing vegetable oil, palm oil, or coconut oil in place of cream. These are frozen desserts, not ice cream. Check for real vanilla extract rather than artificial vanilla flavor. Avoid emulsifiers like polysorbate 80, carrageenan, and carboxymethylcellulose. The portion size matters as much as the quality. A proper serving of ice cream is half a cup, which is about the size of a tennis ball. Most people eat 2 to 3 times this amount, especially when eating directly from the container. Enjoying a small portion of high-quality ice cream is far better than eating a large amount of a highly processed frozen dessert. Here's what you need to remember. Most frozen desserts on American store shelves contain concerning combinations of emulsifiers, artificial colors, synthetic sweeteners, and other additives that can damage your gut health, increase inflammation, and raise your risk of chronic diseases. The good news is that you have options. By choosing frozen fruit bars made primarily from whole fruit or premium ice cream made with just cream, milk, sugar, and vanilla, you can still enjoy frozen treats without exposing yourself and your family to potentially harmful chemicals. Read labels carefully. Avoid products with long lists of ingredients you cannot pronounce. Choose organic when possible, and remember that portion size matters even with the healthiest options. The frozen dessert industry has spent decades convincing us that cheaper, more convenient, artificially colored products are just as good as real food. They are not. Your body can tell the difference even if your taste buds cannot. Start reading those labels before your next grocery trip. Your gut, your heart, and your future self will thank you. If you found this information valuable, please share it with friends and family who deserve to know what is really in their frozen desserts. Leave a comment below telling me which frozen treats you will be avoiding and which safe options you plan to try. And subscribe to stay informed about other hidden dangers lurking in everyday foods. Knowledge is power, and you now have the knowledge to make better choices for yourself and the people you love.